So I'm Eric, and I'm back again with my personal power plant project. So I finished most of the hardware, and now I have to get the all of it ready to be put into the case where the final thing is gonna go. But in order to do that, I had to get the case ready. So I had it. That means drilling a lot of holes for the things that are gonna go through the box. The first thing I had to do was drill the holes for the gear and the stepper motor. And so the idea is that you turn the shaft to generate electricity, but turning the shaft is hard because the way it's positioned. So I thought it would be easier to use a gear system where you turn this handle on the gear, and that in turn turns a smaller gear, and that turns the shaft, and that turns the shaft on the motor. So in order to do this, I had to figure out how big I wanted the gears to be and where I wanted the holes for the gears to be. Figuring out the size wasn't that much of a problem, but the holes were a bit trickier because I wanted the small gear, which is going to be attached to the motor, to be closer to the bottom of the box so that it wouldn't put stress on the acrylic when you weigh it down. So I put it closer to the bottom. I measured it out so that I could fit a foam block in here for support. And then based on where the small hole was, I calculated based on the size of the gears, the radius, and everything. I calculated where I wanted the large gear to be based on that, so it can turn comfortably without any problems, like right now. And then next, I had to drill a hole for my solar panel. My solar panel is the other main source of power for the project. So for this solar panel, I wanted to put it on top of the box, not underneath, so that I would minimize light being reflected by the acrylic. So in order to do this, I had to put the solar panel on the outside of the box. That means drilling a hole so that the wire could go through the inside and still attach to the prototyping board. So that I just drilled a hole there. And now lastly, I had to make these two openings, which were the most complicated and difficult to make. These holes were much bigger than the holes I needed for the gears or the wires for the solar panel. Instead, I had to make these big openings, big enough for a terminal and a switch to go through. So in order to do that, I first drilled a hole, and then I used a Dremel to make the hole larger, and then I filed the sharp edges away. And this was the most difficult part because a Dremel can get really hot, and acrylic melts at a low temperature. So as soon as I started dremeling, the acrylic melted, got stuck to the Dremel bit, and also if it melted enough, it like a layer of like molten acrylic formed and started plugging the hole. The solution to this was to in the piece of plywood underneath the box, I drilled a hole in there and let the acrylic flow there instead of plugging the hole. This was my friend's idea, and it's a really brilliant way so that now I can have these holes. So together, the box looks like this, and all of the openings lead to inside the hole to the prototyping board where I can use it properly. Also, this project taught me how to use power tools and set up a drilling and Dremel station, which is really important because without that, this project could not really be